This is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I want to speak about common things that are retarding ministries, common things that retard the progress of any ministry. And I want to speak about this because many people that are having ministries, that are having callings of God, they are actually taken for granted because it is a calling of God, it is a minister of God. It will be like a well-oiled machine, it will run on its own. But yet there are things that will retard the progress of the ministry, and which you need to take cognizance of and be able to identify those so that you can avoid them. Those are the things that are retarding the progress of the ministry. We need to outline them. We need to mention them. We need to really make you aware of those, because that's the only way you're going to avoid them so that the ministry can go well without retardation. The first thing that I want you to be aware of is the visionary who is not very clear about their own vision. Now, when you have got a vision and you say, I'm called by God, you say, God has instilled a vision to me, that vision must be clear. Because if the vision is not clear enough, you're not going to make any progress of something that you're not very clear about. Because you need to know exactly what the vision says. You need to know what is the direction of the vision. You need to know what needs to be done in order to enhance the progress of this particular vision as well. Now, if you are not clear about your own vision, that will retard the ministry big time. And we have seen people that have opened ministries because they are saying God has called to them. Now, because of lack of clarity along the way, they are stuck. Along the way, they get confused. Along the way, even the people that are following them can realize that this man, this woman, doesn't know where they're going, and they don't know where they're leading us to, because he seems to be confused. She seems not to be knowing where she is going, and therefore it is difficult to follow such a person. So it is very important that you are very clear about your own vision. Secondly, appointment of poor leadership becomes retardation of ministries generally. Appointment of poor leadership. Because you don't appoint people because they are your friends. Don't appoint people because they are your relatives. Don't appoint people because they're looking nice and look like they are passionate about what you're doing. But it must be people of skills, people of knowledge, people of leadership skills that will be able to lead people. Remember that you need leaders here. You don't need people that are just smart, but you need people that are leaders and people that will be able to lead others, people that will be able to participate in the ministry and make sure that the ministry progress by leading other people. You need to make sure that when you appoint people, then you are able to know that they are skillful in leadership. They know exactly what to do so that they don't become a burden to you. We have seen people that have been appointed into leadership positions and they've got no clue of what to do. And that is the reason why many ministers then are retarded. They are not actually seeing any progress. The reason is because there's no proper structural leadership. There's no proper wise people that are strategic thinkers within the leadership, and they don't know what to do at all. And as a result, you as a visionary, you find yourself doing everything else while you're having people around you that were supposed to carry the load for you. Now, appointment of poor leadership or poor appointment of leadership is actually a burden to you as a visionary. It becomes heavy on your shoulders because you are carrying the load, and the load that's supposed to be carried by other people, you're carrying it over your shoulders while you're saying you're having leadership. So poor appointment of leadership then become burdensome to you as a leader or as a visionary. Now, I want to also mention that reluctancy of the leader to delegate becomes problematic as well. Because if any vision or any ministry is having a whole lot of leaders, but yet the visionary cannot delegate jobs, cannot delegate responsibilities to the leadership team that you have appointed, you are going to retard the ministry. Because what is going to happen is you will end up carrying everything over your shoulders. and you will see no progress of anything anymore because you would have actually carried the load upon yourself. And this is very key that we emphasize that, because majority of leaders that are leading ministries, they have actually failed because of lack of delegation. Now, make sure that you let away most of the tasks. You give away most of the responsibilities. You delegate people. But when you delegate people, make sure that these are people that are skillful to articulate that which you delegate them. If they don't know, so train your people first. Make sure that you empower them so that they can be able to articulate that which you delegate them. Because you cannot delegate without orientation. You cannot delegate without empowerment. You cannot delegate without skills and knowledge. So therefore, it's very important that you shape your people, make sure that they've got skills and knowledge of that which they are delegated, so that they can take away the load from you. But when you lack delegation, you're going to run the ministry on your own. You're going to carry the burdens on your shoulders, and you can actually exhaust yourself easily or burn yourself out easily when you are carrying the whole load while you're having the whole leadership around you, but yet you don't delegate. So delegation is very important, because without delegation, ministries becomes retarded as well. Now, poor administration by leaders. Now, administration is very key in any ministry. And I cannot emphasize this enough, because a ministry that doesn't have good administration is burdensome to everybody. It becomes actually very slow in progress. It doesn't move. And that is why administration becomes very important. What is administration? Administration is ability to keep membership numbers, and to be able to assess the skills of the people and be able to allocate them appropriately, be able to break people into departments and functional departments, of course, and also be able to appoint leaders that will look after the departments. And also, we're speaking about here, when we talk about administration, we're talking about ability to keep records. Records of what? Finances. Records of what? Membership. Records of what? And all the departments and leaders and the functioning processes, including roles and responsibilities of individuals in departments, and those that are leading and those that are part of the departments. SOPs, standard operating procedures, and that's administration. So it is very important that you have all these things in place, because if you don't, you're going to have a problem. Now, I've seen ministries that don't even have bank accounts. I've seen ministries that don't even have books to record the finances. I've seen ministries that are not able to also record their membership. So they are not having a database for anything. And therefore, because of lack of administration, the ministry becomes retarded, because there's no movement where there's no administration. So this is very important that we emphasize the issue of administration in any ministry if you want to see progress in that ministry. Otherwise, you'll see retardation all the way of the ministry. Now, I want you also to remember that when leaders are scrambling for positions and without commitment, that is problematic. And we have seen this happening in many ministries, whereby everybody wants to be given a seat. Everybody wants to be given a position. And people are so desperate about positions in churches and ministries, and yet they don't want to carry the responsibility that goes along with that particular position. And I've always wondered, because positions in ministries are not remunerated. They're not getting paid for being in positions. But yet, a ministry is actually a ground where everybody is scrambling for positions. And that's very amazing. And we've seen that happening. Now, when leaders are scrambling for positions, but yet they're not committed, it is very important that you, as a visionary, you become aware of that it is not a place to actually just scramble for positions. People must take their positions with responsibilities so that they can be able to carry out their roles and responsibilities in that regard, so that their commitment can be seen by the progress of the ministry, not retardation of the ministry. So, scrambling, therefore, of people for positions without commitment, we have seen that it does retard the ministry as well. So, please be careful of that as a leader. Lack of integrity amongst leaders. And this is speaking to personalities, it is speaking to character as well. Because when there's no integrity of the leaders, there is going to be a problem. Because there is no exemplary leading in a place where integrity is not there. Now, when we speak about integrity, we speak about discipline, moral discipline. So when you are having leaders that don't have moral discipline, they'll always let you down in a ministry. And the ministry will be tarnished and degraded because people are not looking up to the leaders themselves. They see all the wrongs that they do. And because of that, they tarnish the brand of the ministry, and that ministry cannot progress. And that is why sometimes retardation of ministry is purely because of lack of integrity of the leaders, lack of character of the leaders, and also reputation damage of the leaders. It does retard the ministry progress. So it is very important then that when you appoint people that are well disciplined, people that will be keeping integrity of themselves and of the ministry, so that they can be looked up towards, and then they can become exemplary in behavior and in speech, so that people can look up to them because of high consideration of reputation that they have. People that are of good report. That becomes very important if you are to see the ministry progressing. Now, finally, laziness amongst the leaders to empower themselves, or what we call self-development. It retards ministries, because there are those that are lacking leadership, they're lacking skills and so on, but yet they don't empower themselves. Because if you don't empower yourself, you remain stagnant where you are. And as a result, then you're retarding the whole position where you are occupying, because the roles and the responsibilities that are given to you, you just cannot articulate them because you don't have skills. And you need to empower yourself as a leader. And if we are to see a church or a ministry progressing, we need to see leaders that are ready to empower themselves. I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. As we check out, please remember our YouTube channel, Micornus Phokane, Young Men Empowerment Forum as well. So please subscribe to that YouTube channel, click notification buttons as well. Don't forget our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, the Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions. So please like those pages as well. Follow us there. And we see that we are increasing our followership and people are following us more. So please keep following us. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok as well. And please click notification buttons in all those platforms. You'll realize that every video that we post, it actually pops out and you are able to pick it up. So please, there's also other materials that we posted in the past that may be useful for you and your ministry. May the good Lord bless you and allow us to check out right here as a cheers for now.